Welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. You can find a different command of Jesus every weekday at the Bible Plan at bible.today.church. Jesus told us to go make disciples by teaching them to obey all of the commands that he gave us. And so we do these Jesus Saids just to remind us of who we are supposed to be. If this is meaningful to you, it really helps if you like it, if you share it, if you comment. It just helps us get the word out and spread the good news of Jesus. Today's soundbite is Jesus said, "Beware of fakes." And this comes from Matthew 7:15 through 20, where Jesus said, "Beware of false prophets who come disguised as harmless sheep, but are really vicious wolves. You can identify them by their fruit, that is, by the way they act. Can you pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? A good tree produces good fruit, and a bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree can't produce bad fruit, and a bad tree can't produce good fruit. So every tree that does not produce good fruit is chopped down and thrown into the fire. Yes, just as you can identify a tree by its fruit, you can identify people by their actions." Now, to put this in some context, right before this, in verse 14, Jesus was talking about the gateway to life, and he said that it's very narrow, the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. Then he says, beware, watch out for fakes. And after that, in verse 21 through 23, he says, "Not everyone that says, 'Lord, Lord,' that calls out to him will enter into the kingdom of heaven, but only those who actually do the will of my Father in heaven." In fact, he goes on to say on Judgment Day that many will say, "Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy and do all these great things in your name, miracles even?" But he will reply, "I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's laws." It's not what you say that makes you a Jesus follower. It's the actual following part. It's easier to talk the talk than to walk the walk. Be careful, Jesus said. Good words and profound teaching aren't enough. What about actions? Is who you're listening to humble, kind, and compassionate? Do they love their enemies? Are they really concerned for the poor, the needy, the sick, and the hurting, as Jesus commanded? You see, the good news isn't about information, it's about transformation. A changed heart changes not only your actions, but even your motives and intentions and perspective. So Jesus said, be careful. Be careful who you listen to. You can tell what kind of tree it is by its fruit, and you can identify people by their actions. You can't do the right thing the wrong way. Bitterness, judgment, pride, you can't hide those things with words forever. Look for the kind of fruit that looks and sounds like Jesus. Who are the false prophets today? Well, Paul warned his protege, Timothy, in 2 Timothy 4:3. He said that there was a time that was coming when people would no longer listen to sound and wholesome teaching, but they would follow their own desires and look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear. Jesus said, watch out, beware of fakes. Be careful who you're listening to. Does the fruit of their lives look like the commands of Jesus? Something to think about today. Jesus said, beware of fakes. How can we put that into action today? Do we really look and sound like Jesus? What is the fruit even in our own lives? Jesus said, beware of fakes.